Achtung, dear viewers, Bill Zoeker here for Destructoid.com, coming to you with some Gamescom info. I want to talk to you about the Sony press conference that was held today in Cologne, Germany. That was a weird accent, I won't do that again. I just want to say this isn't close to everything that happened at the Sony press conference. I'm just going to touch on some highlights. You can read everything about everything that's happening in Gamescom at Destructoid.com. One interesting fact that Sony revealed at their Gamescom press conference is that the PlayStation 4 has apparently sold over 10 million units. That's crazy. Although I'm not super surprised. They're kind of kicking ass this generation. At the press conference, they showed off a game called Bloodborne, which is coming from Software, the folks behind the Souls games. It kind of looks like a Souls game, except that it's in a totally different setting. Instead of being like medieval fantasy, it's kind of like gothic Victorian fantasy. Like there's even like a steampunk-looking rifle in one of the trailers for this game. It looks really cool though. It's really gruesome and bloody and wet and poopy, and the guy's got like a saw sword thing. He's like sawing gross carcasses up, and there's nasty monsters, and it's probably gonna be hard. At one point, Mike Bithell, the creator of Thomas Was Alone, came out. He's like, "Yo, I got this new game because Sony made us so much money on Thomas Was Alone. I can do whatever the fuck I want in a game." So he's like, "I've been wanting to make a game ever since I played Metal Gear Solid 2, and this is that game. It's called Volume." And it's a minimalist, like it looks like the VR missions from Metal Gear Solid almost. I mean, it's definitely a different style, but it's that same kind of like minimalist design. And it really explores the stealth mechanics in those classic Metal Gear Solid games. I mean, I feel like stealth has come a long way, dynamically since Metal Gear Solid 2, but there's definitely a charm in those old mechanics, and it looks like Volume is really kind of exploring that to its fullest extent. Dean Hall came out. He's the creator of DayZ. You know that zombie game that everyone and their mother was playing for a good while? Probably still are? I don't know, I'm out of touch. Anyway, DayZ was released as a mod on PC, a mod for Arma 2, and it kind of like took the whole internet by storm and became a standalone release, and now it's coming to the PlayStation 4. And Dean Hall, said that that's crazy that, we're at a point in the video games industry where something like that could happen, and I think he's totally right. Indies are kind of coming up, and we're getting higher quality indie games from more indie developers, and we've got Sony and even Microsoft now kind of really engaging these indie developers and picking the cream of the crop and making them more visible to the world and kind of establishing these games from creative sources instead of just the usual AAA publisher record deal kind of situation that we've had going on until now. Sony also announced a couple of first-party games coming to the PlayStation. One is called Tomorrow Children, and this game is interesting. It's like a weird futuristic game, but it's hard to explain. So you've got these kids, and everything looks like it's made out of toys, and there's dead giants that these kids are mining, like with pickaxes, just mining giant corpses, and then there's these like crazy spider enemies and this evil face that shows up, but the thing I like about it is that everything looks plastic and not in the way that games often look like plastic that annoys me, or it's just, everything looks fake and rubbery, but it looks like, you're looking at a diorama of actual toys. And I think it looks pretty nice. As far as the gameplay, I like that you can mine corpses, but beyond that, we didn't see much. The other game that we saw is called Rime, and as the trailer was playing, I'm like, is this Last Guardian? Like, I haven't followed the Last Guardian stuff that closely, as sparse as it's been anyway, but it kind of looks like it could be a Team Ico game. But it also looks like Wind Waker. It has like a really pretty, colorful cell shading style. You play as this kid, and there's really creative looking, characters and creatures in this game. And it just, I don't know, we didn't see that much of it, but it looks really, really pretty. And I kind of want to play it. They also had Ubisoft come out and show us some more Far Cry 4 stuff. And kind of the big takeaway here is that Far Cry 4 will have a sort of sharing system. It's called Keys to Kyrat. And what it is when you buy Far Cry 4, you will have 10 keys that you can give out to your friends on PlayStation Network. And what it does is it allows your friend to play in Far Cry 4 co-op with you, even if they don't own or download the game. At first glance, this looks really cool. And then they kind of just slip in there in the middle for 2 hours. It's like, really? 2 hours? Like, not even like 24 hours? Like, 2 hours. That's all you get. This is all the more dumbfounding as later in the conference, Sony announced that the Share Play feature, which will allow PlayStation Plus subscribers to jump in on a friend's game for a bit, even if they don't own the game. And it's like, do they have unlimited time? Unlike the Keys to Kyrat, which is only 2 hours, or do they only have 2 hours? Or, like, you know, are all PlayStation Plus members going to be able to play their friend's Far Cry 4 for a longer amount of time? Like, something doesn't add up, and it's kind of confusing. They also had Kojima come out and talk about Metal Gear Solid 5. They're mostly just showing off some of the new cardboard box stuff, which is that you can put pictures on the cardboard boxes, and basically the mechanic here is that you can display like cardboard cutouts of bikini women to distract guards. Come on, it's stupid that that's a way you can effectively distract a guard and somehow sneak around him, is that he's looking at a cardboard cutout of a woman, and also it's just a weird, gross objectification of women that is totally unnecessary. I mean, Kojima's games have always kind of had stuff like that in there, but this feels like a whole new level of gross, and I could really do without. But at the end of the video, they did show Snake sitting on the ground with a PS4 box wedged on his head, which was kind of cute. Now, we've already heard of the PlayStation TV, or Vita TV as it was called at one point. Now it's the PlayStation TV. Apparently, they showed a video for it. Apparently, it's going to sell for 99 euros. And kind of the big reveal here is that you can have your PlayStation TV hooked up, you know, in your bedroom, and then on that you can remote play your PlayStation 4 that you have hooked up in your living room. So it's like it's like a $100 extension cord for your PlayStation, more or less, which is kind of a cool thing. Overall, the Sony press conference was satisfactory. The live stream was cutting out at a few points, which is especially funny considering that they have this streaming service that they're promoting for their games. You know, that's in beta now, the PlayStation Now stuff, and which apparently may or may not have too high of a pricing. They can't even get their live stream to work right. That's not a real thing. It's just kind of a funny coincidence, you know. Also, no Last Guardian stuff. So I mean, there's Tokyo Game Show's coming up, but you know, they made this big deal to, you know, IGN was like, hey, Last Guardian's canceled, and Sony's like, no, it's not. But then they didn't show dick about it at this press conference, so that was kind of lame. Overall, they did have a lot of cool looking stuff though. So I mean, I'm not the kind of idiot who's gonna say, oh, Sony won the press conferences or Microsoft won the press conferences, but they both were kind of, I feel like, just about equal as far as having you know, a breadth of content. Most of which was new, none of which was excessively stupid. So good job all around. Once again, this was not even close to everything that happened at the press conference. You can see every single thing that happened at the press conference, and read about it in detail at Destructoid.com, as well as all your other video game news. You can check out more videos like this on this channel if you subscribe to the channel like you do on YouTube. I'm Bill Zoeker. Take it easy.